Part of the British monarchy, there are certain rules and regulations. We all know that, don't we? And as they've sort of moved along over the years, things have really moved forward in a very fast-paced way. I told you before, when you look at the reign of Queen Victoria, she was very much apart from the people, and they basically had a lot of deference for her simply because they didn't know too much about her. She was at times very difficult, and of course the Queen, basically mourning for so many years, didn't really interact, and it took a lot from her prime ministers finally to make her connect with her subjects, her people. But as we've seen over the decades, things have to be different. No two ways about it. Far more on board, on trend and connecting. As you see, of course, with the Prince and Princess of Wales. Now, what I like about William and Catherine is, and I do like this W&C, it's quite nice in a way, it's informal, isn't it? But it makes you feel slightly connected. Now, what I do like about this is the fact that, of course, unlike previous generations, they're having to become simply more open and more transparent, because if you want to continue in this job, then that's what you have to be. Even Prince William famously said that a few years back. Asked about whether there would still be a monarchy, he famously said, "That's if we are still wanted." Of course, they're very much still wanted. They do a lot of good for this country, the Commonwealth, around the world. Just simply visiting a country can do a lot for them. But of course, a lot of people have been speculating recently about, well, this particular gentleman. That's right, Prince George. Let me explain. Hi, morning. Nice to see you. Thank you so much as ever for your time. Nice to have your company. It must be difficult when you are Prince George, because obviously from a very early age, you get to know exactly your destiny. And when you think also about Prince George, he possibly looked at his destiny far quicker than even he might have imagined, sadly from the demise of our wonderful monarch, Queen Elizabeth II. There it was, literally laid out before you, your future destiny. Now, the reason why I'm highlighting this particular story is simply this. A lot of reports and stuff like that around the world is saying, well, when he becomes 12, there's going to be a radical change in the setup for Prince George. And the setup is simply this. And it was laid out really way back, actually in the 1930s, but really came to prominence more in the 1950s. And this is all about royals travelling separately or indeed together. Now, the true story goes is simply this, that yes, by the time he reaches 12, the reason for the fact that actually Prince George won't be allowed to travel alongside his mother and his father, the Prince and Princess of Wales, is simply this. It's about safety. It could be anything, and this was all instigated from all of those bomb scares and IRAs and stuff like that from many years ago. The terrible situation with Lord Louis Mountbatten, that's really what escalated it even more. A lot of people are asking, would he be aware of that? Let me tell you, Prince George has been in training from a very early age, whatever you think. He spent quite a lot of time, as did his father, with Her Majesty the Queen at Windsor, normally after tea on Sunday, where she gently told him stories, history, the background to the family. Make no illusion about it. Prince George knows exactly what's expected of him and what's coming. And I think what you can see in the more modernistic way of what we're seeing with Prince George and his father is how they get in a closer bond. The football, you can see the way that they're together much more, even of course dressing alike at this hero worship level. So for all those who are saying it's going to come as something of a shock, it will be no shock, trust me. George knows exactly what's laid out for him, with more explained and more to come as he develops over the years. Apparently Catherine, though, was a little bit upset by this, but totally understands exactly the need for it, as you can imagine. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.